Robbie, you know, when you were playing football, how many of your mates understood this? I mean, you were actually pretty ahead of the time when you started investing.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, we never ever once sat down and discussed this, what we're doing, just what I'm doing with my money. I think everyone was
partying.
Well, yeah, most of them might have
celebrating.
But like obviously individuals are different, and you know what they done, you know, in their own homes or with their own people. You know, no one was privy to that. You know, it was not really spoke. We never really spoke about it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I don't know, for whatever reason, because it wasn't a thing.
You didn't need money though, did you? I guess.
No, well, no one did when you played football.
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't the thing that we spoke about. You know, we spoke about other things, obviously more so the football, and everyone's life outside of football. You know, people's lives differ. It is just a crazy. I think nowadays, if you look into the Premier League, there's a lot more players doing it. There's a lot more players who understand.
Well, I think a lot of players are following your example.
Yes.
Well, I don't know that, but it's just, I mean, they just obviously listen to whatever's been said, and they think, oh, well, exactly what you're explaining. You know, it's absolute money for nothing. And I mean, I'm sat here, I'm a little bit thingy here, to be honest, because I'm sat by him, and I'm loving listening to this myself, because I just find it so fascinating. And obviously your question before is, you know, how can you get people, you know, for that mindset?
Right.
And obviously it's, if you've got nothing and, you know, you've got a little bit and you want to invest in, I mean, it's a big commitment, isn't it? Yeah. People will be scared.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's all what ifs, isn't it?
Right.
So
Yeah.
what if we do this?
It doesn't work? Yeah.
And obviously, you know, the negative thoughts and that, but, you know, obviously take the negatives, you know, try and make a little bit positive.
Right.
As he's saying, and then it just goes bigger and bigger and better.
Right.
Yeah, because when you actually show people the consequences of not investing and getting a good return, that's when they start to take action.
Right.
Because they realise if they don't do something, they're going to be in a situation where they're going to be broke.
Right.
You know, if you look at what people earn over a lifetime in the USA citizens spend 126% of what they earn.
That's why the country is broke.
Right. Asia is just over 100%, and that's why they're debt ridden and the debt condition, you know.
Right.
So, but they're getting debt to buy consumer items and not things that give them a return. So they can get conditioned to go and buy Prada suit, blah blah blah.
Right.
But they're not conditioned to go and buy property with the same money.
Right. Right.
Because you could actually use that as a deposit to put on a property.
Right.
You know.
Right. So mentoring is critical.
Absolutely.
You know, in terms of getting people over this hump
If
and
there's
getting
one
them to change their mindset.
that you could ask me that would say, well, what's the fastest way to be a successful investor? It would be to be mentored by a successful investor.
Absolutely.
That means if you want something badly enough, you have to hang around with people that have got what you want.
Right.
Like if you want to be a fantastic footballer, I think I heard you last night mention that Ian Rush gave you the most tips in terms of skills and things, right?
Yeah, I know, totally, I agree with totally what you're saying in terms of, I mean, it doesn't have to be property, I mean, it could be in any walk of life.
Anything.
Right. You want to be the best, and sometimes you have to, you know, go and speak to, you know, people who are trying to get on that ladder as well. Someone who wants to sort of better themselves, and you can learn off them. Like football, it's like school kids, they go to school to obviously learn. The teachers are mentoring them. Football, I have coaches who mentor me. Obviously we have our parents who are probably the best mentors, and I think in terms of property, you know, look, to start off, no one knows nothing, and then all of a sudden, you know, we speak to the mentors, and you know, they tell us everything that they know, and I think you're just on to an upward hill.
Because that's the only way you grow.
Right, absolutely.
If someone's got something you haven't got and they've got that level, you've got to hang around with that person to get to that level. You can't hang around with people there who haven't got it.
Right. And it's always it's a continuous learning process, right? I mean, in investing, so. in you know, in terms of, I'm sure when you started as a footballer and when you were at the peak of your career, it was a learning process.
Well, even that as well, I think there's a little bit of pride within yourself. You always want to be bigger and better.
Right.
Again, I know I've said this a few times, but I don't care, you know, who you are, you know, what you are. You know, you always want to be the best that you possibly can. Whether it be football, whether it be into property, whether it be, you know, a school kid, you know, studying for exams. You know, it's everything is there, and you want to be the best of everything.
Right. Yeah, and I think another point is that a lot of people feel they can't be the best because they don't have access to people like Robbie, don't have access to people like me. But actually, it's the opposite, really, because I'm more than willing, you're more than willing to meet them at where they are.
Right.
So I've created programs, and Robbie's created programs where anybody without any money can come and see us, and we'll help them.
Right.
You know, and I think in today's world, that's the difference between now and say 30 years ago, because of the internet, because of communication. Now it is actually more accessible.
Right.
Yeah.
Marco, do you find that I mean, you've been in Asia for some time.
Yep. Nearly 20 years.
20 years now. That's a long time. Do you find that with the growth of the middle class, everyone is talking about the new affluence in Asia? Are people starting to change their mindsets in terms of investing long term into property? Are you seeing that?
Well, that's a long answer. To give a short answer, so what you had a shift between the Western economy and the Asian economy. So in the West, it was booming 20 years ago, tons of development, and really the development finished there.
Right.
So then the West actually outsourced all the manufacturing and all the work to the East, India, China, blah, blah, blah,
right.
because it was cheap labor, right? And now the opposite has actually happened. So now you've got China, India, China being the richest country in the world. Now they're outsourcing to America.
Oh my God.
That is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're outsourcing to America for cheap labor.
Right.
Because the Chinese are so bloody rich that they are the biggest consumers in the world now. Brands like Louis Vuitton, BMW, Rolls-Royce, Mercedes,
they all sell
in
to
the
China.
first quarter of this year had the best quarter they've ever had in history of any market anywhere. Now the Chinese are going to Paris and buying designer labels. So you don't see any Europeans there. So there's definitely a shift in wealth. Right. Now in terms of investing, more Asian people are definitely investing, and in fact, I would say Asians have a different kind of mindset than Westerners, because their mindset is they're kind of more cautious than Westerners. So the average American only has 1 month of salary in the bank account. The average Singaporean has 6 months. It doesn't mean they're better though than the Westerners, because in Singapore, in a savings account, your interest rate is 0.05%.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're cleverer than a Westerner. It just means you're more cautious. So what you've got to do is the Asian mindset is to save and accumulate, and buy a house, but then pay it off cash, then you're okay, don't have to worry about anything. So that's the Asian mindset. And the problem with that is that when you pay a house off cash and you retire, you've got no income.
Right.
So you've got a great big house, but you've got no income. So you're not really living, are you? So what I teach is the opposite. To be financially free, you have to borrow now, and borrow as much as you can, and of course invest in returns that give you more than what you're borrowing. And that's lifestyle.
Right.
Life is so short. You want to live now, or do you want to live when you're 65, when you're broke? That's not living. Right.
Robbie, I mean, you've done well in the UK in terms of investing. Are you now looking to invest outside of the UK?
Well, you know what? I've never really sat down and thought about it, because I'm still sort of new to it. I mean, I will speak, and I will obviously bend your ear and
I'd love to
get a little bit more information and all that. But I don't really know too much about this part of the world, but I am open to new ideas, new suggestions, and look, in anything you can never say never.
Right. I mean, this is not the first time you've been in Indonesia and in Jakarta. You've been here a few times. What's your impression? Is it something that more people in the UK should know about what's happening in this part of the world?
Yeah. Well, listen, I think this country. I mean, I've come over primarily for football, and I mean, I'm just flabbergasted how passionate the people are. In terms of, I mean, I come over on my own, and I mean, I've not played for a number of years at the top level. And the adulation I get from the people is just unreal.
Well, you are God,
Well, I mean, to come over and without sounding egotistical and big-headed, I mean, it is unbelievable for me to still.
Do you find those fans are different to English fans?
Yeah.
Yeah, because in terms of in England, I mean, people see you all the time.
Yeah.
You come over here and
they never see you, kind of thing.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like more of a. More like a bit of a shock and awe thing, isn't it? But look, I do love coming here. Obviously, not just in Indonesia, but all over the Asian world. But I just find it extraordinary the way the people are.
Right. We've got to wrap up. Maybe I'll just go. In terms of, what do you think is the next leg of your career, of your life? I mean, you've done very well as a footballer. You've done very well as an individual. You're giving back to communities now. What do you see on the horizon for yourself?
Well, obviously, I've got a few things in the pipeline, and you know, one being, you know, obviously the investments with property, you know, and two, you know, football has played a massive part of my life. I've played it for years. Well, I mean, I've played it since I was 5, 6 years old, and you know, it's the only thing I ever wanted to do. Obviously, you can't play forever, so coaching and managing certainly the next step that I'd like to go into.
Right. Any club?
Well, I can't really say I'm going to manage this club, can I? Because you know, you never know what's around the corner. But look, I mean, it could be anywhere. I mean, it could be in England, it could be in anywhere in Asia. But you know, I am, let's say, open to suggestions, and yeah, hopefully it'll be.
I don't think it's going to be Manchester United, though, right?
No, I didn't think.
I knew he'd get Man United in. No, but look, I think you know, whatever, you know, it's a big
well,
world.
you know, Asia will welcome you with open arms, I'm sure.
As it always does. So you know, I'm grateful for that.
Okay, Marco.
Yes.
You know, I mean, what's the next?
I'd love to manage a football team.
Yeah. You could.
Why not?
Why
Right.
not?
Yeah.
Why not? But
why don't you just buy one?
Yeah.
Well, let's buy one together.
Yeah. There you go. You know.
Deal?
Well, a lot of.
Hang on. Maybe one day, you never know.
Yeah. Always good to look forward, right? Something interesting, something
I've always wanted to run a
unusual,
football club, why not?
and not Manchester United. Well, you can't buy Manchester United now. Or maybe you could.
Anything's possible,
Anything's
in my
possible.
philosophy.
Everything's just for sale.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much for your time,
Thank you,
Robbie
Sho.
and Marco.
Thank you
I
very
think it's been a great having you both on the program, and wish you all the best. And hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.